elements, right? All the elements known to man are found on the periodic table. And then matter is everything in the universe that has mass and volumes. Excellent. I love that. Thank you so much, you guys. As always, our class announcements, please don't share any personal information for your safety and the safety of others. Always, always keep your behavior, language, and webcam school appropriate and respectful at all times. Know that your participation is so important to this class. Really, really make sure you're participating. I can't stress it enough. The more you participate, the more you're going to get out of this class. The more you get out of this class, the better you're going to do in class and the better grades you're going to get. And not only that, you just make it better for everybody. So I appreciate those of you that really participate and take part of the class. And then always, always remember that Class Connect sessions are recorded and distributed for learning purposes. So today is the last day of the first week. And again, at the end of today, we will be 20% done with the class. So we cover lots and lots of material every single day. Just FYI. Yesterday, we took our first exam. And I want to take a minute and share my screen with you and show you something, okay? We know that your exams are worth 55% of your grade. And so the bulk of your grade is with your exams. And you have 3 attempts to redo exams, okay? So I'm going to come over here. Right now I'm on our home page, right? This is our home page. I'm going to come over here to grades. And this is where you can see, you know, if you have any missing grades, if something's been turned in late, or if you did do the exam, for example, you can see your score on it. Okay. Now, with our old platform, I could make it so that when you redid an exam, you only had to redo the questions that you missed. With this platform, I don't have that ability. So I want to show you how to redo your exam. Okay. So if you click, I'm going to use this. Okay. If you click on something that you've done and you want to get a better grade on it, okay, this brings up the assignment and it has all of your answers on it. So you can see on question number 5, I got 1 out of 1 points. So that my answer, when I typed in coldest, that was the correct answer. You can see my matching. It has my answers and it has my points that I earned, right? But if you go down and you find an answer that you got wrong, like this one, right? Okay, so this one, I answered with 3 questions. And I know that I didn't get all the points. So there's obviously one more question here that I needed to answer. So I can take screenshots of this and I know which answers are right. And I could even open up another tab and have my test on one tab, my new test that I'm redoing, and go in and have my old test open also, so I know what the correct answers are, okay? And that's the best way to do it. Now, where do you find your assignments? Okay, there's two places for you to find your assignments. You can click on your modules, Okay, if you click on your modules, here are all the assignments that are due, right? Or you can click on announcements. And here's week 1. And remember, on week 1, on the announcements, I give you direct links to every assignment. So this is another place that's a really good place to find the links to your assignments. Okay. So today, what I want you to do is go to your announcements, go to week 1, and open up your notes for today. So open up notes 2A, structure of the atom. And when you get there, go ahead and click on take the quiz. And that is going to open up your notes for today and what we're going to do today. Okay. So today we're starting our unit 2. Which is all about the periodic table and the atom. Notice that again, it's about half the time of a typical trimester because it's so compressed. So our exam for this unit is going to be Monday, July 7th. Okay. Today we're going to talk about the structure of an atom with protons, neutrons, electrons. And we're going to talk a little bit about the atomic theory and how we learned about the structure of the atom. And then we're going to talk about the atomic number and the atomic mass, and learn how to calculate the atomic mass of an atom. Okay, so that's our objectives for today. So once you have those notes open, I want you to go ahead and on question number 1, go ahead and click OK, and get the notes started. Okay, and then give me a thumbs up. Okay, give me a thumbs up so that I know you are ready. Thank you, Ayani, Ryder, Michaela. Thank you, Australia. Thank you, Lamont. Nia, Cody, waiting on you too. Okay, let me know when you're ready. Thank you, Nia. I appreciate you. Perfect. Okay, so we know that mass is anything that is made up of atoms. It has mass, it has volume, meaning it takes up space. Elements are found on the periodic table, and they are the same type of atom. And atoms are the building blocks of all matter, okay? I know that I can also classify matter, right? Hey, Ian, I'm so glad you're here. Hello, Ian. We have just started our notes. So if you go to your announcements and open up 2A, that would be great. Okay. So I can classify matter. Okay. And that's what we did in unit 1. Okay. So with this, we're going to really start focusing in on the atom and the periodic table and learning a little bit more detail. So question number 1 is fill in the blank. Remember that capitalization does not matter. You can put all caps, you can put lowercase, anything that you want, but you do need to spell it correctly. Okay, thank you, Ayani. Thank you, Australia. Thank you, Nia and Lamont, Michaela, Cody. Thank you, thank you. Ian, are you good? Ryder, let me know. Thank you, Ryder. Ian, do you have them open yet? Okay. So when I start talking about the subatomic particles, I'm just talking about the smallest parts of an atom. Each one of these particles is not a full unit of matter. That's an atom, right? So we're just talking about the parts of an atom. The proton is located in the nucleus, in the center of the atom, and it has a positive charge. All protons have a positive charge. I remember that because protons and positive both begin with P, and they determine the atom's identity. Okay. Oxygen has 8 protons. Always, always, always. Any atom that has 8 protons is oxygen. Okay. So it determines the atom's identity. Okay. Now, then another subatomic particle that is found the same place as the proton is the neutron. Okay. And neutrons, they have a neutral charge. And I remember that because neutron starts with the spelling NEU, which is the same spelling that neutral is, NEU. Both of them are NEU, okay? So it has a 0 charge. There is no charge. It's not positive, it's not negative, it is neutral. Their job in the nucleus is to keep the protons separated. They keep the protons from repelling each other. I know that like charges repel. So if there were 2 protons next to each other, they would repel each other. And that would make an unstable nucleus. So the neutrons just separate the protons. They keep those protons far enough apart that the atom doesn't fall apart. It's important to know that both the proton and the neutron are both found in the nucleus. It's also important to remember that both the proton and the neutron have a mass, and their mass is 1 AMU. AMU stands for atomic mass unit, okay? We can't measure their mass in grams or anything like that because they're too small. So their unit is AMU, okay? Now, the last part of the atom is the electron, okay? And the electron has a negative charge, a -1 charge. And they are involved in bonding, okay? So when different atoms bond together, it's their electrons that are being shared or being transferred from one to the other, okay? And even though the electron has a negative charge, it has no mass, okay? It is so very, very small that you don't even know that you couldn't mass it, okay? It is not found in the nucleus. Instead, it orbits, it circulates the nucleus in what we call the electron cloud. Okay. Now, these are drawn, this is called a Bohr diagram. And it's important to know that electrons don't really travel in circles, okay? But they do travel around the nucleus. Thank you, Yanni in Australia, Nia, Lamont, Michaela, Ryder, Cody. I appreciate you guys for all letting me know that you are done with question number 4. So here we've got the subatomic particles, okay? Remember that, so I'm going to kind of annotate on this here a little bit, that protons determine the identity of the atom. It has a positive charge. Again, think about the positive and protons, both starting with P. It has a mass of 1 AMU, and it's in the nucleus, okay? Neutrons act like referees. They keep the protons from repelling each other. Their charge is a neutral charge. Again, I know that because NEU is the same as neutral. Okay, so that has a 0 charge. They have 1 AMU mass, and they too are found in the nucleus. Okay. Electrons are negative. They have a -1 charge. There is nothing to remember that other than it doesn't start with a P and it doesn't start with NEU. They are involved with bonding, okay? And they have 0 mass, and they are found orbiting in the nucleus. Now, I have this written a little bit better right here, okay? And I'm going to annotate one thing here. And what I want you to do after I finish this, I'm going to underline the P's, and then I'm going to underline the neutral right here. Okay, now what I want you to do is take a screenshot of this, because this is going to come into play, and it's going to be a nice thing to have in order for you to answer some questions. Okay, so remember to take a screenshot. You click on your notes, right? And then from your notes, click on your camera icon, and that will put it in your notes so that you can use it for other purposes, right? Okay, once you're done with that, hopefully give me a thumbs up, okay? And so that I know you've taken your screenshot, okay? Thank you, thank you, thank you. Awesome, perfect. Okay, now with that, I want you to complete question 5 on your own. Use questions 2, 3, and 4 to help you answer this. Also, that thing you just took a screenshot of, that also is going to help you answer your questions. Okay, so when you are finished with question number 5, click on that activation link for me. Okay. Thank you, Cody, Australia, Michaela, Ryder, Nia, Lamont, Ayani, are you good? Australia, you good? Perfect. Perfect, perfect, perfect. Thank you. Okay. Ian, doing okay? Okay. Perfect. So, how did we figure out that that's what an atom was, and that was the structure of an atom? And that came from our atomic theory. And a lot of scientists really have put in a lot of time into figuring this out. One of the very, very first scientists in 1803 was a physicist named Dalton. And he was the first one that decided that matter was composed of these things, these particles that he called an atom. And he's also the first one who figured out that there were different types of atoms, and that he called those the different elements. And then almost 100 years later, Thomson came along. And Thomson, he figured out that there were actually, in this sphere, there were different parts in this ball of this atom, right? And he called it a plum pudding model. He knew there were, it was sort of a solid positive thing, but there were negative electrons spread out in it. So he thought it was a solid sphere, and kind of like raisin bread, that had these little negative charges throughout it. So that was his model. Okay. Thank you, Yanni in Australia. Lamont, Ryder, thank you. Thank you, Michaela. Cody, Nia, you doing okay? Question number 6 is sphere. Yeah. Ian, you doing okay? Perfect. Thank you. Okie dokie. So, question number 7. In 1911, Rutherford came along. Okay, he was a chemist, and he did an experiment called the gold foil experiment. And I'm going to show you exactly what he did here in just a minute. It was pretty amazing. But he's the one who discovered the nucleus, and discovered that the nucleus was the thing in the middle of the atom, and that the electrons were around it. Okay, and that most of the atom is actually empty space. Okay, so he sort of opposed what Thomson said, right? Thomson said it was solid sphere. Um, Rutherford was the one that came along and says, like, dude, you know, it's wrong. Most of the atom is empty space. Okay. Thank you, Yanni in Australia, Nia, Mike, Michaela, Ryder. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Okay, Cody, Ian, Lamont, are you good? Ready, ready? Doing okay? Okay. So I'm going to show you a video clip, and this is going to show you what Rutherford did. It's pretty amazing. Okay, so that was the experiment he did. It was pretty cool. And that's how he discovered most of the atom is actually empty space. It's only the nucleus here in the middle of it that is solid. The remaining part, this electron cloud, is very, very close to being empty space. Okay. Then Bohr came along in 1913, and he was the one that theorized that it was the electrons that traveled in these shells, these outer shells. Um, Chadwick came along, and he was the one who recognized that the nucleus contained not just positive protons, but that it also contained the neutral neutrons. Thank you, Yanni, Australia, Nia, Michaela, Ryder, Lamont. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Cody, you good? Ian, how about you? Ready, ready, ready? Yeah, let's do it. Okay. So that was really our atomic model up until the 1920s. Okay. And this is what we thought it looked like up until then. But then the electron cloud model came along, and it's the most recent model. And this is when we figured out they really don't travel in circular patterns. Instead, they travel in these orbital models that are really odd shaped. They don't have set paths. It's impossible to know exactly the location of electron, but we can figure out the general area of it. Okay. And so this was the work of Schrodinger, as well as one other scientist. And this electron cloud model shows this fuzzy path where the electrons are most likely located. Again, a probability. Okay. And again, it's based on Schrodinger's work and Heisenberg. Okay, Heisenberg was the one who discovered that those orbits were really weird shaped. Okay. Perfect. Thank you, thank you, thank you, Yanni in Australia, Nia, Lamont, Michaela, and Ryder. You guys are amazeballs. Okay, so again, um, another matching. Okay, um, very similar to question number 5 that you did. Okay, so again, if you need help, go back to questions 2 through 5. Thank you, Nia. Thank you, Ryder. Thank you, Michaela. Thank you, Australia. Ayani, Lamont, you doing okay? Thank you, Cody. Perfect. Awesome. Okay, so we know protons determine the identity. They have one atomic mass. Neutrons are neutral. They also have mass. and electrons are involved in bonding, but they have no mass. So when we look at the nature of an element, it's determined by the number of protons, right? The atomic number is the same as the number of protons, okay? So if we have different number of protons, we have a different element. For example, hydrogen has 1 proton. Helium has 2 protons, but they're very, very different elements. I am going to show you another video that's going to illustrate the difference between a single proton. Okay, so that's the difference between a single proton. Hydrogen, again, only has 1 proton. Helium has 2. You probably heard about the Hindenburg disaster with the hydrogen plane called the Hindenburg when it blew up. That's because they used hydrogen to inflate the Hindenburg. And so 1 small spark and bam, it went up in a big ball of fire. So thank you, Cody and Michaela, Ryder, Lamont, Nia, Australia, and Yanni. I appreciate you guys. So here's the periodic table, okay? And what I'm going to do again is I'm going to show you the periodic table that's interactive and the one that I am going to give you a link to, okay? This is PT table, and you can see each element has its own tile. I'm hovering over this green one with a capital H. Okay, that's the symbol, that's the chemical symbol for the element hydrogen. And then it has a couple numbers. It's got a 1 up here and then 1.008, and then it has another 1 up here. We're going to learn about these numbers here in just a minute. But again, hydrogen has 1 proton, right? And we said helium, which is over here across from hydrogen, has 2 protons. Do you notice anything about these numbers, right? Okay. I said earlier that protons are what determines the element, right? And not only does it determine the element, but it determines this number that's right up here. So for example, magnesium has 12 protons, okay? Titanium, there's this 22 up here. That tells me it has 22 protons, okay? That is called the atomic number, Okay. So the atomic number is the same thing as the number of protons. The element symbol, we talked about this in Unit 1, right? The symbol is always a capital letter, and sometimes it has a second lowercase letter. But if it has a uppercase letter, you know that that's the beginning of a new element. Okay. So argon's element symbol is a capital A, lowercase r. And then the name of the element is typically found right underneath the element symbol. Okay. So, what I want you to look at the atomic number here. We've got the atomic number 26, okay? I am going to go to our periodic table again, okay? And I am going to click on the element that has the atomic number 26. Now, in the chat box, tell me, what is the name of this element? What is the element that has the atomic number of 26? Tell me in the chat box. Iron. Good job. Exactly right. Yeah, it's iron. Okay. And with that, okay, the symbol was a capital F, lowercase e. And it has 26 protons, 26 protons, right? Easy peasy lemon squeezy. Okay, now look at question number 12 and question number 13. It is asking how many protons are in fluorine. Remember to look at the atomic number to get that answer. And then question 13 says how many protons are in gallium. Okay. So go ahead and complete question 12 and question 13. Okay. Good job. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Cody, are you good? Yeah. So let's check your answer. Okay. Let's check your answer. If you said that fluorine has 9 protons, you would be correct. And if you said gallium has 31, you would be correct because I just used the atomic number. Woo-hoo, party, party. So question 14, you get to do by yourself. And this is a mystery element, okay? This is a mystery element. What number are you going to copy down there? Perfect, perfect. Thank you, Yanni, Australia, Lamont. How's it going? Thank you, Michaela. Nia, Ryder, Cody, you doing okay? Pretty simple, right? Just copy down that atomic number and you're golden. Okay. So that's question 14. Now, the atomic mass of an atom counts the number of protons and neutrons. Remember that electrons have no mass, so it ignores how many electrons there are. So the atomic mass is always protons plus neutrons, okay? So here is a problem that we're going to work, okay? Um, and I have 6 elements right here. I have nitrogen, oxygen, fluorine, phosphorus, sulfur, and chlorine. Um, so this is asking me what element has 8 protons. Okay. What element has 8 protons? Tell me in the chat box. Look at those 6 elements and tell me which one has 8 protons. Okay. Remember? Yeah, exactly. Thank you, Australia. Yeah. You're just looking for that atomic number right there. So that has to be oxygen. Okay. Now, sometimes remember that the job of the neutron is to keep the protons from repelling each other, right? So atoms sometimes have different number of neutrons, and that is called an isotope. It's an atom with a different atomic mass because the neutrons, um, there might be 8, there might be 9, there might be 10, okay? So if I need to calculate the atomic mass, I'm going to add the protons plus the neutrons, and that is going to give me my atomic mass unit. And I call these isotopes, okay? I call them with their name of their element. So we said this is oxygen. Whoops, I missed the G in there. Oxygen dash 16, because this particular atom of oxygen has a mass of 16. Okay. So that is your answers for question 15. Thank you, Australia and Michaela. I appreciate you. Thank you, Ryder. Thank you, Nia. Thank you, Lamont. Ayani, you good? Ian, Cody, doing okay? Okay. So now let's do two. Thank you, Ayani. Let's do 2 more problems here. Okay. So here we have an element with 8 protons. Okay. Where are we? Here we go. So 8 protons. Earlier, you told me any atom with 8 protons has to be oxygen, right? And I know that's true, okay? So this is another oxygen, but it's just going to be a different isotope because notice what's happening. It has 10 neutrons. So I'm going to take 8 protons plus 10 neutrons, and that comes up with a mass of 18 AMUs. So this isotope is called oxygen dash 18. Okay. So that is the answer to question number 16. Question 16. Okay. Go ahead and do that one. Okay. Now, this one, question 17, has 15 protons. Okay. If it has 15 protons, tell me in the chat box, what element is this? Again, look at these tiles and tell me which element has 15. Yeah, Michaela, awesome. It's phosphorus, right? So this is going to be phosphorus. So to find the atomic mass of this atom, I'm going to take 15 plus 16, and I would get 31. So the name of this atom is phosphorus 31. Okay, phosphorus 31. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to give you 30 seconds on the clock to finish that question. Okay. Give me thumbs up if you are good. Give me thumbs down if you need a little bit more time for questions 16 and 17. Are you good? I see thumbs up. Everybody? Yeah? Thank you, Ryder. Thank you, Michaela and Ayani. Thank you, Lamont. Okay. We did it. We did it. We did it. We did it. We talked about protons, neutrons, electrons. We talked about the atomic theory and how these models were developed. We talked about atomic number and how an atomic mass, and figured out how to calculate the atomic mass of different isotopes. So if you're feeling okay with this, or you're feeling good, then you are golden and you are free to leave. If you want help figuring out how to do something or want help with maybe your exam, let me know. Stay back. And we've got 30 minutes to work together. Okay. I hope you have a lovely, lovely day. 17, you betcha. Bye, Australia. I hope you have a great day. Okay. Ayani, did you get that? Okay. Have a great day. Don't forget to submit your notes. Down there at the bottom, it says submit quiz, right? Cody, any way I can help you now so that help you get caught up? Do you know how to find the assignments and find what you're missing? Nia, how about you? Can I help you with your test or anything? Ian? Michaela, can I help you with your test?